Hi, good morning and thanks for tuning into the breakfast news on Rajya Sabha television. It is start of a brand new week and lots making news this Monday morning. Let us start with the headlines. Debate on holding simultaneous Lok Sabha and Assembly polls, a healthy sign for democracy, says Prime Minister Modi. In 47th edition of monthly Mann Ki Baat address, lauds the grit and courage of people of Kerala, says the state will rise again. Election Commission convenes all-party meet today to discuss preparations for Lok Sabha polls due next year. Issue of vulnerability of EVMs to remain in focus. 7 national and 51 regional parties invited for the meet. 10 people killed in rain-related incidents in various parts of Uttar Pradesh. Road and rail traffic affected. Flood-ravaged Kerala stares at 4 to 5% decline in tourist footfall. Chief Minister thanks Central Forces during formal farewell function, says the state will remember their services with gratitude and appreciation. Iran's finance minister impeached by country's parliament over failure to counter impact of US sanctions. Latest blow to embattled President Hassan Rouhani as he struggles in the face of mounting economic crisis. And India's medals tally at 36 at the 18th Asian Games in Indonesia. Bag of 5 silver and 2 bronze medals on Sunday. Success in athletics, equestrian and bridge events. A top story this Monday morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has lauded the grit and courage of the people of Kerala following the massive floods that hit the state severely. Speaking in the 47th edition of his monthly radio program, Mann Ki Baat, the Prime Minister assured the people of the state and other places affected by the floods that the entire country is standing with them in this moment of calamity. The Prime Minister also said that the people of Kerala will ensure that the state rises again. He lauded the work done by various arms of the forces in carrying out rescue and relief operations. The Prime Minister also spoke about the importance that disaster management has gained in the wake of natural calamities.
आज इन कठिन परिस्थितियों में पूरा देश केरल के साथ खड़ा है। हमारी संवेदनाएं उन परिवारों के साथ है जिन्होंने अपनों को गंवाया है। जीवन की जो क्षति हुई है उसकी भरपाई तो नहीं हो सकती, लेकिन मैं शोक संतप्त परिवारों को विश्वास दिलाना चाहता हूं कि 125 करोड़ भारतीय दुख की इस घड़ी में आपके साथ कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर खड़े हैं।
And during his address, the Prime Minister also described the debate on holding simultaneous polls for Lok Sabha and assemblies as a healthy sign for democracy. He also called the debate an appropriate tribute to late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
आजकल आप देख रहे हैं कि देश में एक साथ केंद्र और राज्यों के चुनाव कराने के विषय में चर्चा आगे बढ़ रही है। इस विषय के पक्ष और विपक्ष दोनों में लोग अपनी अपनी बात रख रहे हैं। ये अच्छी बात है और लोकतंत्र के लिए एक शुभ संकेत भी। मैं जरूर कहूंगा, स्वस्थ लोकतंत्र के लिए, उत्तम लोकतंत्र के लिए अच्छी परंपराएं विकसित करना, लोकतंत्र को मजबूत बनाने के लिए लगातार प्रयास करना, चर्चाओं को खुले मन से आगे बढ़ाना, यह भी अटल जी को एक उत्तम श्रद्धांजलि होगी।
Prime Minister Modi spoke about late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee. He said that the country will remain grateful to Vajpayee for bringing good governance into the mainstream. He also said that the late Prime Minister also brought about a change in the political culture of the country, the benefits of which will also be seen in the days to come.
पिछले कई दिनों से अटल जी के उत्तम से उत्तम पहलू देश के सामने आ ही गए हैं। लोगों ने उन्हें उत्तम सांसद, संवेदनशील लेखक, श्रेष्ठ वक्ता, लोकप्रिय प्रधानमंत्री के रूप में याद किया है और करते हैं। सुशासन यानी गुड गवर्नेंस को मुख्य धारा में लाने के लिए यह देश सदा अटल जी का आभारी रहेगा।
The Prime Minister also spoke about the recently concluded monsoon session of Parliament. He said that the session will be remembered for upholding social justice and youth welfare. Hailing the session as very productive, the Prime Minister said that a number of important bills, including one to grant constitutional status to the National Commission for Backward Classes, were passed. He also said that an amendment bill to secure the rights of scheduled castes and scheduled tribes was also passed, which will give more security to the interests of these communities.
संसद का ये मानसून सत्र सामाजिक न्याय और युवाओं के कल्याण के सत्र के रूप में हमेशा याद किया जाएगा। इस सत्र में युवाओं और पिछड़े समुदायों को लाभ पहुंचाने वाले कई महत्वपूर्ण विधेयकों को पारित किया गया। आप सबको पता है कि दशकों से SC/ST कमीशन की तरह ही OBC कमीशन बनाने की मांग चली आ रही थी। पिछड़े वर्ग के अधिकारों को सुनिश्चित करने के लिए देश ने इस बार OBC आयोग बनाने का संकल्प पूरा किया और उसको एक संवैधानिक अधिकार भी दिया।
The Prime Minister also spoke about crimes against women. He said that Parliament has made provision of strictest punishment by passing the Criminal Act Amendment Bill. He also spoke about the anti-triple talaq bill and assured the Muslim women that the entire country stands by them to provide social justice. The Prime Minister also spoke about Sanskrit Divas and congratulated all those actively involved in preserving and conserving the glorious heritage. The Prime Minister spoke about the ongoing Asian Games in Jakarta as well and congratulating the winners. He said that the medals are in the evidence of sky-high spirits of the Indian players. He also added that it is also a very good positive indication that most of the medal winners hail from small towns and villages and have achieved their success by putting in sheer hard work. Let's get to some other news now. The Election Commission has called an all-party meeting today to discuss various issues ahead of the Lok Sabha elections slated for next year. And the agenda for the meeting includes taking the views of all parties on measures to improve the accuracy, transparency and inclusivity of electoral rolls. The Election Commission will hold discussion on measures taken by political parties to encourage enhanced representation of women within the organizational structure and in the candidate selection for contesting elections. The poll watchdog will also discuss issues related to expenditure ceiling for Legislative Council elections and limiting political party expenditure. Also on the agenda will be banning of political advertisements in print media 48 hours before the day of polling on the lines of the restriction on electronic media. All 7 registered national parties and 51 state political parties have been invited to participate in the meeting. All right, let's get you all the updates. We have with us our colleague Panchanan Mishra joining us from the national capital for more on this. Panchanan, a very good morning. So the Election Commission has called this all-party meeting on reforms, of course, ahead of the Lok Sabha elections next year. And all the 7 national and 51 state parties have been invited to deliberate today. What are the updates that you can give us? Which all parties are likely to join?
Morning, Aishwarya. As we know that Lok Sabha elections are slated for the next year, and in the last months of this year, 4 state elections will be there. So Election Commission has called an important meeting, and there will be 7 national parties and 51 state parties will be here in the meeting. It will be a day-long meeting. Election Commission officials along with all party representatives will be there. And it is important because Election Commission has its agenda regarding the poll expenditure and the representation of more women in political process, and also the issue of EVMs and the fidelity of these electoral rolls will be discussed in this meeting. And as we know that in the past around 1 year, the issue of simultaneous elections is also around the corner, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi also discussed this issue in his Mann Ki Baat edition yesterday. way.
Yes.
And the deliberations on this issue is continuous in the country, and there are major parties who are in favor and major opposition parties who are not in favor of this concept. So this may also be discussed, but the issue is mainly based on the next year's Lok Sabha elections and these 4 assembly elections, and the process of electoral rolls and the process of correctness of electoral rolls, as we know that verified paper trail system has to be linked to all the EVM machines in the upcoming elections, assembly elections and Lok Sabha elections. This may be an important issue among the political parties. So we have to see that what comes out from this meeting. Ashwarya.
Right. Panchanan, thank you for all those from outside the Election Commission office in New Delhi. Of course, a very key meeting there scheduled, and all the state as well as national as well as the state regional parties have been invited for this meeting. Thank you so much. We'll keep coming back to you for more on those updates there. And now let's get you all the updates from flood-ravaged Kerala. Kerala is staring at a 4 to 5% decline in tourist footfall if the sector does not pick up from October this year. The state is dealing with the aftermath of the worst floods in 100 years. Its busiest airport in Kochi is shut since 16th of August and is expected to resume operations only from the 29th of this month. The Kochi and Ernakulam regions, which have been under the water for almost 2 weeks, alone account for around 52% of all tourism in the state. And ahead of the floods, tourism footfall in the state had been hit due to Nipah virus as well. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi assured the Kerala governor that the state would get more central funds from the National Disaster Response Fund as per laid down procedure. The assurance came during their meeting in Delhi on Saturday. And the Kerala government earlier organized a formal function in the honour of the various central forces that played a pivotal role in the rescue and relief operations in the state. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan thanked the forces and said that the state will remember their services with gratitude and appreciation. The Chief Minister also urged all the Malayalis to donate a 1 month salary to rebuild the state.
The way in which the proud warriors of Army, Navy and Air Force and the paramilitary forces brought succor to the needy during the flood cannot be explained in words. All that we can say is that all of you and the service you rendered will always be kept in our mind in the times to come too.
And while heavy rainfall caused heavy destruction and loss of lives in Kerala, more than 40% districts in south of India witnessed deficient rainfall this monsoon season, according to the IMD. Now, of the 125 districts in the region, 54 reported deficient rainfall and another 2 were largely deficient. The worst hit state by deficient rainfall was Tamil Nadu, where 20% of the 32 districts received deficient rainfall and 1 reported large deficiency. And of the 31 districts in Telangana, 6 reported large deficiency. All the 4 districts of Rayalaseema region and 2 of the 11 districts in Andhra Pradesh received deficient rainfall. And all 4 districts of Puducherry reported deficiency. Of the 30 districts in Karnataka, 14 received deficient rainfall and 2 reported large deficiency in rainfall. Lakshadweep also received deficient rainfall. And at the country level, the IMD said that there was a 27% rainfall deficiency in the east and northeast India, followed by a -3 in northwest India and -1 in central India. Meanwhile, in the state of Uttar Pradesh, incessant rains have claimed 10 more lives in the last 24 hours. Due to heavy rains in the western part of the state, rail and road traffic have been affected badly. In Bijnor district, an approach road to bridge on Sukhron River on National Highway 119 connected Kotdwar and Naziababad was washed away in the flash floods. In Pilibhit district, the Bisalpur-Bareilly road is still blocked due to a landslide. Heavy rains also affected rail traffic. More than 30 trains are running late because of waterlogging on the railway tracks. Heavy rain also forced railway officials to take help of water pumps to clear the tracks in Bareilly. In Rampur district, Kosi and Ramaganga river are in spate due to heavy rains and water from the hills of Uttarakhand. Administration is on high alert and is monitoring the situation in the villages close to these rivers. In Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more news.
Art arisen from a multi-hued cultural canvas. Tradition and cultural fervour dating back centuries. And encircling them all, there's a magic that awes. Embrace your nation's brilliant human warmth. Watch Colours of India, Sundays at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back after the break. Well, days after taking charge as a finance minister, Arun Jaitley targeted the UPA regime for a weak economy inherited by the BJP in 2014. In a Facebook post, Arun Jaitley said that the economy has undergone a transformation ever since the NDA came to power 4 years ago. And quoting IMF reports, Arun Jaitley said that a comparison of the data released in 2014 and 2018 proved that high inflation, fiscal deficit and current account deficit, besides a standstill infrastructure, power sector and allocation of natural resources, were some of the failures of the previous government. He added that the latest report points at a near-term macroeconomic outlook broadly favourable and growth forecast rising to 7.3% in the present financial year, which is a result of a series of reforms carried out by the Modi government. Arun Jaitley also attributed the growth to transparent system, stability-oriented macroeconomic policies and progress on structural reforms. And the RBI's deadline for the resolution of big-ticket non-performing assets, so the NPAs, comes to an end today. The RBI had given banks 6 months to finalize resolution plans for around 70 large stressed accounts worth over 3.5 lakh crore rupees. And if no resolution is reached so far, the accounts will be referred to the National Company Law Tribunal to initiate bankruptcy proceedings. The RBI circular had asked banks to identify projects with even a day's default as stressed assets and conclude resolution proceedings in 180 days. The circular came into effect on 1st of March and the 180-day deadline concludes today. News from the northeast of the country, and results of the 2 assembly by-polls in Meghalaya will be declared today. Over 77% votes were polled in the by-poll to the 2 assembly seats in Meghalaya on Thursday. The South Tura constituency, from where Chief Minister Conrad Sangma is in the fray, witnessed 72.89% voting. Sangma is contesting from the South Tura seat in West Garo Hills district on the ruling NPP ticket to enter the state assembly. And 82.1% votes were polled in the Ranikor seat, where elections were necessitated after sitting MLA Martin M. Dogo quit the Congress party to join the ruling NPP. Now, this time, Dango contested as a NPP candidate from Ranikor, which he represented for the last 5 consecutive terms as the Congress MLA. On to some other news now. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj arrived in Vietnamese capital Hanoi on the first leg of her 4-day two-nation visit to Vietnam and Cambodia. Sushma Swaraj will co-chair the 16th meeting of the Joint Commission along with the country's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Pham Binh Minh. She will also call on the Vietnamese Prime Minister and inaugurate the 3rd edition of the Indian Ocean Conference. During a Vietnamese president's visit to New Delhi in the month of March, both the sides had vowed to join hands for an open and thriving Indo-Pacific, besides ensuring an efficient and rule-based regional security architecture. Sushma Swaraj's visit is aimed at deepening India's strategic cooperation with the two countries in the ASEAN region. Let's get you all the international news now. Iran's finance minister has been impeached by the country's parliament. Now, this is the latest blow to the embattled Iranian government as it struggles against a fall in the currency value and a mounting economic crisis. Masoud Karbassia lost the vote of confidence on Sunday by 137 votes to 121 with 2 abstentions. Now, he's the second minister in President Hassan Rouhani's cabinet to be impeached this month following the removal of the country's Labour Minister Ali Rabai earlier. Now, critics of Rouhani's government say that it has squandered the opportunities presented by the nuclear deal, which now looks increasingly moribund after the US pulled out in the month of May and began reintroducing sanctions. Now, protests linked to the tough economic situation in the country began last December, spreading to more than 80 cities and towns and resulting in 25 deaths. Sporadic protests have continued regularly since then and have occasionally resulted in violent confrontations with the security forces as well. News from the US now, where 2 people were fatally shot during a video game tournament at a shopping complex in downtown Jacksonville, Florida on Sunday. 9 other people suffered gunshot wounds and 2 people were injured fleeing the area. The gunman, identified as 24-year-old David Couts, took his own life after the shooting. The shooting happened during a video game tournament being held at a Jacksonville Landing, a large shopping, entertainment and dining complex. And reports said that the gunman began shooting after becoming angry following a loss at the gaming tournament. Police said that the killer used at least 1 handgun in the shooting.
The single suspect in this case is a white male. And this is pending confirmation, but we believe the suspect to be 24-year-old David Katz from Baltimore, Maryland. And the FBI is assisting us with that leg of the investigation in Baltimore. We have located and impounded the suspect's vehicle, and a search of that is pending. But we believe he stayed somewhere locally last night, maybe at a hotel.
Meanwhile, tributes continue to pour in from across the world for American Republican Senator John McCain, who has died aged 81. Prime Minister Narendra Modi joined world leaders in condoling the demise of McCain, who died of a brain cancer, describing him as a steadfast friend of India. Prime Minister Modi wrote on Twitter, "Deeply saddened by the demise of Senator John McCain, people of India join me in sincerely condoling the loss of a steadfast friend. His statesmanship, courage, conviction and understanding of global affairs will be missed." A Vietnam War hero and a towering figure in the American political scene, John McCain died on Sunday at his home in Arizona following a battle with an aggressive form of brain cancer. US President Donald Trump, whom McCain had strongly criticized, tweeted his deepest sympathies to McCain's family. Barack Obama, who beat him to the White House in 2008, said that they shared a fidelity to something higher. George Bush described him as a patriot of the highest order. And now let's get you all the action from the ongoing Asian Games. Well, India clinched 5 silver and 2 bronze medals at the 18th Asian Games in Indonesia on Sunday. 2 silver medals were bagged in equestrian and 3 in athletics. India also got 2 bronze medals in the men's team and mixed team events in bridge. Now, equestrian is a sport related to horse riding. And Fuad Mirza finished second on the podium in the eventing individual with the Indian team comprising Fuad, Jitendra Singh, Ashish Malik and Rakesh Kumar claiming the silver in the team category of the event as well. And in athletics, Hima Das got silver in women's 400 meters final, while Mohammad Anas Yahia bagged silver in the men's 400 meters final. Sprint queen Duti Chand also got silver in 100 meters. And India settled for 2 bronze medals from the debut sport of bridge after the men and the mixed teams lost their semi-final matches. The men's team lost to Singapore while the mixed team suffered defeat at the hands of Thailand. The men's team had an average age of 52 while the mixed team had 57. The sport of bridge has been introduced for the first time at the Asian Games. Looking at the medals tally now, India is placed 9th in the medals tally with 36 medals that include 7 gold, 10 silver and 19 bronze medals. With China with 174 medals, including 78 gold, tops the medal tally, followed by Japan with 122 medals, including 40 gold medals. And South Korea is placed 3rd in the medals tally with 94 medals, including 27 gold medals. And with that, we wrap up this edition of Breakfast News. But news and updates continue on your channel. Thanks for watching.